Okay, are we gonna introduce ourselves?
It started, go!
Well, we can edit the beginning out, you know?
Yeah, I can cut that out.
No, but I'm not on the record.
Oh,
not on this.
oh,
Okay,
oh.
ready, set, go.
Hello, we're Group 1. I'm Christine Sillo.
I'm Magda Bosco.
I'm Harley Peters.
And I'm Sara Alvarez. And today we're talking about the variability in the efficacy of sex pheromone lures for monitoring oriental fruit moths. So what we'll be talking about is just like the background, the fruit moth behaviors, and lure analysis. And so we're comparing all these lures and seeing their results, and we're going to be discussing this with all of you guys. So Graphorhita molesta, or otherwise known as oriental fruit moth, is a common pest in orchards around the United States and Chile. So they feed on shoots and fruits, causing extensive damage, both like aesthetic and to the fruit itself. So the larvae bore into the fruit and they eat around the pit of the fruit, and that just creates a lot of damage. So farmers can use different pheromone traps and lures to disrupt the male moths from finding female moths. And so there's no consistency in procedure, no official traps that farmers use throughout. So courtship behavior. Female oriental fruit moths actually use pheromones from the long distance to attract males. And so this allows males to find them. And then male oriental fruit moths have small brush organs or hair pencils, which are used in like short distance mating to attract the female, and this is a form of sexual selection from the females. So the main question of this study is what combination of chemical compounds is more efficient in disrupting Graphorhita molesta courtship behavior? And the scientists want to test the efficacy of commercially available lures in orchards in Chile and in the United States. So they want to standardize this. They want to see which one is more efficient. And so they hypothesize that there's going to be a big variability in the ability of each of these lures to be able to attract oriental fruit moths.
As far as the materials and methods go, they place the lures in the upper third canopy of the tree, and they randomize all the treatments in the orchard tree. They bought the traps, and then the lures were donated from other people. They tested these, and then they put the lures in the field to catch the oriental fruit moths. These are a list of the treatments, and this is a picture of them being placed in the upper third canopy of an orchard tree. The difference between these is just one compound being added, 3 milligrams of it, and then this one is without that additional compound, and then the negative control is simply just that compound. And then in the peach orchards, there was 2 types in 2 different countries. There was like an untreated in the Chile and then treated in the USA. And then they applied statistical analysis via square plot transformation to analyze the variance.
Now, I know you're wondering what happened. The word of the day is wide variation. They had several different types of lures. They had several different blend ratios. They used several different types of loading techniques. And they had several different results. Here's a comparison of the male Graphorhita molesta catches and traps baited with the 3-component sex pheromone blend. And you can see there's wide variation, like we said. So when you look at what the non-target species is, the city of Pluminella, the orange bars, you can see that they were catching a lot more of the non-target species when they added the dodecanol. And the results were not as promising with the G. molesta, which is the target species. So mating disruption. Already Harley's mentioned it somewhat. Mating disruption is when they try to get the males to leave the females alone. They sometimes inundate with too many pheromones. It's like when a girl walks by and you can smell a little bit of perfume and it gets you interested. But this is more like too much perfume, and then you're like, no, I'm not interested. Or it just confuses them. They can't find the female. And that's important with these 2 studies between Chile and the United States. In Chile, they had non-mating disruption. So the males were basically welcomed into the orchard by the smell of the pheromones. But in the United States, what they did is they had mating disruption, and then they also put the lures out trying to bring the females in. So this ended up with males being confused, do you want me here, am I not supposed to be here? So you can see in Chile, they caught a lot more of the target species, and in the United States, not so much. So when is more? Well, too much is not always a good thing. Too much of a percentage, too high of a percentage, too many micrograms, doesn't guarantee that you're going to catch more of your target species. But what they did find is that more in a blend is what does the trick.
So, in summary, it is very surprising that despite decades of research, there is not a standardized monitoring lure available yet for these moths. And this study really reinforced that there's a lot of inconsistencies, and so there really needs to be more research done. For example, all commercial products use various blends with dodecanol. And the importance of determining a standardized lure, and it would help to establish the damage threshold, which would then allow us to understand when is the proper time for a pesticide application to properly affect the mating disruption. And so past studies led to the understanding that an increase of dodecanol really affected short-range behaviors, and so that's why they added it in. But this study found that dodecanol really is not needed. Even when it's with E8 dodecanol, the percentage of dodecanol has no effect. And another factor that contributes to the wide variance is the reliance on donated materials. Donated materials vary a lot when you're between different years and labs. So in conclusion, all these techniques are working against each other, and so more research really needs to be done.
So does anyone have any
Questions?
questions?